Hi, this is Jaydeep Sai. Now I am going to speak on the topic stock market analysis using supervised machine learning. Abstract stock market or shared market is one of the most complicated and sophisticated way to do business. Small ownerships, brokerage, corruptions, banking sectors all depend on this very body to make revenue and divide risks, a very complicated model. However, this paper processes to use machine learning algorithm to predict the future stock prices for enhanced by using open source libraries and pre-existing algorithms to help make this unpredictable format of business a little more predictable. We shall see how this simple implementation will bring acceptable results. The overcome is completely based on numbers and assumes a lot of axioms that may or may not follow in this real world so as the time of prediction. So the stock market or share market is one of the most complicated and sophisticated way to do business. So generally, the stock market, or we can also call as share market, is one of the most complicated and sophisticated way of doing business. Small ownerships, brokerages, corporations, banking sectors all depend on this very body to make revenue and divide risks. So many of the organizations such as banking sectors, small ownerships and brokerage corporations, they are investing their money in the stock market or we can also call as share market to uh, to make their body and make revenue and divide the risks. So they were making the revenue from this stock market, and they are also not only making the revenue but also they are dividing the risk because the software, this share market is a very risk prone business and it's a very complicated model. So even though there is an revenue from the share market, but there is also the potential risks that can lead to the loss of the revenue. So this is about the dividing of the risks by the investors. However, this paper processes to use machine learning algorithm to predict the future stock price are enhanced by using open source libraries and pre-existing algorithms. So this paper presents about the making of the model that can predict the stock prices in the future for exchange by using open source libraries and pre-existing algorithms. So we are using the open source libraries and also the pre-existing, which are already existing algorithms for making the model that can predict the stock prices. This is about the extract of the paper. Introduction. Stock market is one of the oldest methods where a normal person would trade stocks, make investments, and earn some money out of companies that sell a part of themselves on this platform. This system proves to be a potential investment schemes if done wisely. However, the prices and the liquidity of this platform is highly unpredictable, and this is where we bring the technology to help us out. Machine learning is one such tool that helps us achieve what we want. So market is one of the oldest methods where a normal person would trade stocks, make investment, and earn some money out of companies that sell a part of themselves on this platform. So basically, the soft market is a platform where the companies sell their part. Their shares are sold in the stock market, and the investors, such as normal people, would trade on these shares. They make the investment on the shares, and some of the companies they sell their part in those shares, and due to the investment by the people, the shares of the companies in the stock market will increase. As a result, the profits of the company will also improve, because the value of the company will increase due to the investments made by the people on the sales. However, these prices or the liquidity of this platform is highly unpredictable, and this is where we bring technology to help us out. So generally, the people who invest on the shares of the companies in the stock market, the prices are unpredictable. Sometimes the shares price maybe keeps on increasing, and on sometimes the shares will also decrease in their value. So this is highly unpredictable at the time of making investment. So we have bring the machine learning is one of such tool that helps us achieve what we want. So we are using the machine learning as the base for making our model that can predict the prices of the stocks or shares in the stock market by using some of the sophisticated algorithms and using some of the known libraries. In statistics, there is a way where we look at the values and attributes of the problem in a graphs and identify the dependent and independent variables and try to establish or identify an existing relationship amongst them. This technique is known as linear regression in statistics and is very commonly used due to its very simple and effective approach. In machine learning, we have adapted the same algorithm where we use the features to train the classifier, which then predicts the value of the label with certain accuracy, which can be checked while training and testing of the classifier. For a classifier to be accurate, you must select the right features and have enough data to train your classifier. So in the statistic, there is a way where we look at the values and attributes of the problem in the graph. So in the statistics, we have the graph, and to the graph, there is a considerations of values and attributes of the graph. So we are plotting the curves or the data in the graph on the basis of the values and attributes and identify the dependents and independent variables and try to establish or identify an existing relationship among them. So in the graph, we are studying the dependents or independent variables and trying to establish the relationship among them by making the plots or curves in the graph. This technique is also known as linear regression in statistics. So this linear regression in statistics is also used in our model for making the model for predicting the share market. In machine learning, we have adapted the same algorithm where we use the features to train the classifier, which then predicts the values of the label with certain accuracy. So we are making the classifier. The classifier is used to classify the data into whether it can be used for investment or not. The classifier is used to classify the labels. So the labels are the attributes and values. We are using the labeled data here for making our model where the data is split into training and testing of the classifier. For a classifier to be accurate, you must select the right features and have enough data to train your classifier. So we are training the classifier by making the labeled data. The labeled data is the data which has the attributes and values. So we are using this labeled data to the classifier, and this data is split into training and testing data. We are training the data to the classifier. We are feeding the data to the training data to the classifier and testing the data. We have separate testing data where we test the classifier by using the data after training the classifier. This is the process we are using. This is the method of linear regression in statistics. We are applying the same concept of the linear regression in making our model. Prediction model. Data analysis stage. So in the making of the prediction model, we have the first stage is the data analysis stage. In this stage, we shall look at the raw data available to us and study it in order to identify suitable attributes for the prediction of our selected label. The dataset taken is for Google by Wiki and can be extracted for Quadil using the token Wiki Google. We have extracted and used approximately 14 years of data. The attributes of the data includes open price of stock, highest price possible at the instance of time, lowest price possible at an instance of time, closing price of stock, volume, total times traded during a day. So these are the attributes and the labels which we are using to train the model. And this data is approximately 14 years of data. This is the data which is taken from the stocks, and it's about nearly 14 years of the data about the stock market. And we have collected this data from Google by Wiki and extracted from Quadil using token. We have used the token WikiGold to extract this 14 years of the stock market data for training the model. After the analysis stage, we have training and testing stage. At this stage, we shall be using what we extracted from our data and implement in our machine learning model. We will be using SciPy, scikit-learn, and Matplotlib libraries in Python to program our model, train them with the features and label which we extracted, and then test them with the same data. We will be using the simplest classifier, that is linear regression, which is defined in sklearn library of scikit-learn package. We choose this classifier because of its simplicity and because it serves our purpose just right. Linear regression is a very commonly used technique for data analysis and forecasting. So after the analysis stage of data where we have collected the data for 14 years of the stock market, now the next stage is training and testing stage. So in this stage, we are extracting our data and implementing our machine learning model. So after the data is extracted, we are implementing our machine learning model. We will be using SciPy, scikit-learn, and Matplotlib in the Python to program our model. So the libraries which we are using are SciPy, scikit-learn, and Matplotlib. SciPy and scikit-learn are basically used for the data to train the model, and Matplotlib is used to make the data representation in the form of graphs. And for the visual representation, we use the Matplotlib, and also for the normalization of the data, basically the Matplotlib of the Python library is used in the model. We will be using the simplest classifier, that is linear regression, which is defined in sklearn library of sklearn package. So as we told that we are using the linear regression of the statistics to make our model. This linear regression is already defined in sklearn library of scikit-learn package. So that's why we are using this SciPy and scikit-learn libraries in the making of our prediction model. Results. Once the model is ready, we use the model, obtain the desired results in any form we want. In our case, we shall be plotting a graph of our results as per our requirements. So these are the results after making the model. Helpful hints, requirements and specification. You must know the exact problem requirements and the machine learning and throughput specification thoroughly as the very first stage. Do not rush this step, as this step is very crucial in deciding the overall plan for the development of the program. Study case carefully, do a little background check, collect a sample of knowledge of the subject in hand, and identify what you actually want and set it as your goal. Careful function analysis. You must be very careful while deriving the features from the data as they play a direct role in prediction model. They all must make direct sense in conjunction with the labels, minimizing the functions subject to the requirement constraints as much as possible is highly recommended as well. Implementation. So this is the stage where we are implementing the model. You must select the appropriate model in which you will implement your math to produce result. The model selected or designed must be in conjunction with the input data. A wrong model designed or selected for an inappropriate data or vice versa will result in garbage model which is completely useless. You must see for compatible SVM or some other available methods to process your data, trying out different models simultaneously to check which works the most effectively is also a good practice. Training and testing. Training of the model is very straightforward. You only need to make sure that the data is consistent, coherent, and is available in great abundance. A large set of training data contributes to a stronger and more accurate classifier, which ultimately increases the overall accuracy. Training is also a very straightforward process. Make sure your test data is at least 20% of the size of the training data. It is important to understand that testing is the test of your classifier accuracy and is sometimes observed to be inversely proportional to the classifier score. Optimization. It is almost impossible to create a versatile classifier in a single go. Therefore, we must always continue to optimize. There is always some room for improvements. When optimizing, keep in mind the standard methods and basic requirements. Shifting to SVM, trying and testing different models, looking for new and improved features, changing the entire data model to suit the model entirely, etc., are some very fundamental ways to optimize your model. Conclusion. So we have come to the conclusion of our title. Machine learning, as we have seen till now, is a very powerful tool as evitable. It has some great application. We have seen till now that machine learning is very much dependent upon data. Thus, it is important to understand that data is quite invaluable, and as simple as it may sound, data analysis not an easy task. Machine learning have found tremendous application and has evolved further into deep learning and neural network, but the core idea is more or less the same for all of them. So thank you. I thank the faculty and college for providing me this opportunity to speak on the topic. Thank you.